The idea of playgrounding, I guess, came from the desire not to lock the process into too serious and too linear a trajectory too early on. One of the things that both David and I were very keen to avoid was drafting in an enormous team of very expensive consultants from the word go, emptying out the organisation's bank account in the process and simply plodding through a series of boxes which got ticked. And in the process also it drains the joy and the delight and the energy out of the process quite quickly. It seems overwhelming and it seems too difficult and it seems like something that only experts are qualified to deal with. And so we wanted to debunk that, turn that on its head and say, well, if we keep the delight, if we keep the sense of play, of improvisation and experiment alive during these early stages, it's not a flippant or a trite thing to do, it's actually an incredibly effective and efficient thing to do because you get to the nub of the issue in a quite light-footed, much more enjoyable way, but importantly, I think a much more authentic way, because you're enlisting the voices of the people that understand the building, have used the building, have spent years in the building, dreaming about it, making work here. So you've got this whole quarry of raw material which is available to you if only you have the communicative means of hearing it and understanding it. So playgrounding was about both conversation and experiment. And of course one of the things that the BAC has always been good at is successive layers of improvisation, developing work, showing it, analysing it in serious and not at all playful in the flippant sense, but in a very detailed and very intelligent way, and then making the work again. And it seemed to us there was a lot of parallel energy to be drawn into the architectural process from that. So we make small architectural moves, test them out, make some architectural interventions as part of the production. Does it work for the artists? Does it leave traces that can be used again in the building? So does the building accumulate interesting creative raw material from successive productions rather than a one-size-fits-all architectural solution which has been imposed externally, rationally, intellectually at distance? And neither one nor the other is the answer, because of course there are constraints and there are disciplines which need to come into play, things like infrastructure, safety, stability, and all the metrics of financial viability and risk management, etc., etc. But that on its own isn't the thing that makes a beautiful space. So what we wanted to do was to try and get as much of the process and the methodology from the artists that work at BAC and the audiences that come here to inform our own architectural process.